Alright, let's learn how to add fractions. And in this video, we will go over an easy example, an intermediate one, and a slightly difficult problem. So the first problem is an easy problem. The reason it is easy is because the denominator for the first fraction is the same as the denominator for the second fraction. If that is the case, then we can add them very easily. So the common denominator is going to be 6, and we are going to write 3 for the numerator of the first number plus 8, because the denominators are the same for both the numbers, the common denominator makes that work easily. Now we add the numerators 3 and 8, we are going to get 11, and the denominator is 6, and that's the answer. Now we can choose to simplify this, or we can leave it as is. In this case, because 11 is not a multiple of 6, we will leave our answer as is. So this is going to be our answer for the easy problem. Next, let us look at an intermediate example. Here we have two fractions, 3 divided by 8, and the second fraction that we are adding to the first one is 5 over 16. Now in the previous example, the denominators were the same. In this case, the denominators are not the same. However, we can change a few things to make them the same. So what I can do is, for the first fraction, I can make the denominator 16 by multiplying it by 2. However, if I multiply the denominator by 2, in order for you to have the same fraction value, you will also have to multiply the numerator by 2. So let's multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2 as well. If you do that, the first fraction becomes 6 over 16, which is the value of 6 over 16, and then the second fraction remains as is. So you have 5 over 16 for the second fraction. Now we have an easy problem to solve, because now we have the common denominator 16 here, 16 here. So we can directly add the numerators by doing 6 plus 5, and the denominator for the answer is going to be 16. So this simplifies to 11 over 16. Again, even this number, you cannot simplify it further, so we'll leave the result as is, 11 over 16. Now let's go to a difficult problem. Over here, it is difficult. The reason is we have 3 different denominators for the fractions. There's 4, there is 5, and there is 6. Now if you want to find the common denominator, then we would have to find the least common denominator, or least common multiple, also called as LCM. And it's called LCM because that is L, that is C, and that is M. So find the least common multiple of 4, 5, and 6. Those are your 3 denominators. So if I want to find the least common multiple of 4, 5, and 6, the easiest way I can do that is by writing the multiples of 4. The multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Let's see, let's write a few more. 32, 36, 40, 44, and so on, right? And then multiples of 5 would be easy to find. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and so on. And for 6, we would have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, and so on. Now if I wanted, so these are the multiples of each of these denominators, but what is the least common denominator? So I can see that there is 30 that is common to 5 and 6, however it is not a multiple of 4. So none of these numbers are matching for all the three numbers. So the least number that would match would in fact be 60 for 4. It's going to come after 44, and it's going to be 60 over here, and there is already a 60 over here. So the least common denominator between these three numbers is actually, least common multiple is 60. So now we can make this as our common denominator. So let's do the problem again. After having found the least common multiple of the denominators. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the denominator 60, because I found that that's the least common multiple between 4, 5, and 6. Now I know that 4 times 15 is going to be 60, and then 15 times 1 is going to be 15. 5 times 12 is going to be 60, and 12 times 4 is going to give me 48. 6 times 10 is going to be 60. 10 times 7 is going to be 70. And then again, I got these numbers by multiplying 1 and 15, 4 and 12, and 7 and 10. And I got 1, 4, and 7 because of these numerators, and I got 15, 12, and 10 because 4 times 15 makes 60. Now the problem has become an easy problem. So 15 plus 48 plus 70, we'll just quickly add them up. Let's line up the numbers so that their place values line up. 8 plus 5 gives me 13. I'm going to carry a 1, write a 3 here. 7, 8, 9 plus 4 gives me a 13. So my answer over here should be 133 divided by a 60. And that's my answer for adding up those three fractions. Alright, I hope this video helps you to add fractions that have a common denominator already, or you can quickly manipulate the denominators to make it common, or for the difficult case, find the least common multiple of all the denominators and then add them up later on.